Hey guys, this is Nitesh, and this is another review. First off, I want to start off by just apologizing if the audio quality is a little messed up. I'm recording this one differently because it has the potential to get a little messy with the graphics, and I don't think Fraps would be able to handle that particularly well. So, we are playing Project Explore. Now, again, this is a game that I got a review copy for, just like 8-Bit Boy, so I want you guys to keep that in mind, because the purchase value of the game is something that I talk about. So, this game is a open world crafting survival game. You're probably gonna notice that's something there's a lot of. So, what does this game have to really set it apart? Let's take a look. Now, I do want to talk a bit about the graphics because I've actually run into a bit of a problem with this. Now, resolution is 1920 by 1080. That's my normal resolution, just full screen it. However, I have seen this game just randomly default back to 720p instead of 1080. I don't know why it does it. I actually noticed it really happened one point when I died, and all of a sudden the whole window shrunk and it was windowed. So that's a bit of a glitch. So, the music just kind of gradually gets louder and then quieter, and then louder and then quieter, and then just cuts off sometimes. But that's okay because this is the only place there actually is music. So, just load up a new world just to show you what this game starts out as. So, this is the character creation menu. Now this is the view of your character throughout the entire thing, and you're gonna notice something. Half of these will not come up. Like, most of these hairstyles look the same. The skin color, that one's a little visible, sort of. Shirt color is pretty hard to actually tell. And legs, that is completely invisible. So anyway, now in a open world survival crafting game, you gotta find the I don't actually know what those are, but you gotta find the basic materials so you can start crafting. Or, in this game, you can just find an open building. And every one of those has important supplies in it. I have a rock so I can actually kill stuff. Except for that bear, that will not go well. So, now the thing about getting your supplies from just these houses is that sometimes you actually find some pretty useful supplies. I found a gun in one of the houses. Combat's pretty simple, just keep backing up until the end. That's a sudden rainstorm. Just keep backing up until they just kinda give up. Also, these corpses, they have a lot of stuff, like this pistol. I'm gonna take this stuff real quick, and then maybe I'll get to the crafting. Now, this is something that I'm actually kinda happy about. This is a very streamlined system for crafting. It's got a clear menu. It's actually got recipes. Do you realize how annoying it is when you just have no idea how to actually make the stuff? You know, it's all very easy. Very just simple. And very nicely effective. The whole time you're managing your health and your hunger. Now, health, of course, that goes down when you take damage. Hunger just gradually ticks down the whole time. And most food heals more hunger than health. You know, pretty understandable that. But this was a mistake. As a general rule, hanging out with hungry bears doesn't end very well. But anyway, yeah, right now I could kinda use eating. See that? If I didn't have full health, it would heal 20 health, and it healed 40 food. So, that's something I'm gonna want to keep doing. So, it actually fixes a few things that always kinda annoyed me with some open world survival crafting games, and really does it in a way that makes it approachable. So, that just immediately added the metal to my inventory. Go to ammunition, bullet, bullet, bullet. There. I now have 7 bullets. And I managed to chip away that entire massive metal boulder. There's occasionally some, like, equipment stuff you'll find. None of it really seems to change all that much about the game. You find random, like, building materials. But frankly, there's not really much motivation to use the building materials when there's buildings right here waiting for you. And that, I think, is actually one of the bigger problems with this game. That they included these houses and makes it so much easier to kind of get started with the game. I don't even need half of this stuff. Yeah. I don't even need a good chunk of this stuff. But it's all so easy to get a hold of. Because it's all just... And it's suddenly night. It's all just sitting there waiting for you. And as a result, it's like you're never really in that much risk. You know, this game does a few things right, but it never really goes beyond any of that. And it actually doesn't take very long at all to kind of run out of stuff to do. Like, I've explored what this world has to offer. There's nothing more. In the end, if you really think about it, this is kind of a crowded market. How many open world crafting survival games are there? And how does this really differentiate itself from any of them? Really, the only answer I have is that this game, in some ways, is a lot less complete than some of the other games. It makes some very good steps for like people who don't want to sink tons of hours into it. And you know, maybe this is fine for like a more casual audience. You know, this game had a certain requirement, and that was that it really needed to set itself apart from the million and one other games of this genre. And I kind of don't feel like it does. I feel like in the end we get a game that's kind of been done already. And I gotta be honest, it's not done particularly well. You know, there's not as much call for exploration when everything you need is just given to you. And here we are at the edge of the world. And it's like the more you explore, the more you're not actually finding anything. Kinda hits a point where you're exploring because you kinda don't have anything else to do. You know, I bring up the early access excuse of, you know, this game could be so much more. And I gotta be honest, how many... Well, first off, how many of the other open world crafting survival sims actually do end up being anything more? Okay, well, he's just bugged running in place. Let me just make some more ammo. He seems to not be there. Never mind, there he is. We've kinda gotten to what this game has to offer. Let's actually take a look at the Steam store page. Well, that's good. It crashes when you try to close it. Well, first thing I want to point out here is that this is a $7 game. So, let's kind of keep that in mind. Now, they are saying that after he comes out early access, which we'll give him credit, but he does have plans to keep kind of expanding the whole thing and keep making it bigger and better. Definitely respect that, especially with how many early access games become abandonware. He does have things that he's kind of looking to do. And the final release is going to cost a bit more, which, frankly, I kind of feel like that should be every early access game. Like, when you get a game on early access, you're doing the beta testing for the developer. You're helping them to finish the game, and in the meantime, you're getting a very incomplete experience. That should cost a little less than the full release. It seems like the person developing this, or people, I don't know. Seems like the people developing this are putting some effort into it. However, not really showing all that much. This says a bit. It's like, not recommended, not recommended, not recommended, recommended based on 0.3 hours. And this is very much the early access excuse that, yeah, this game is an alpha. Let's talk a little about that. The game is an alpha. I'll grant them that. There is plenty of chances for the game to get much better. On the other hand, this right here, they are charging money for this game. And I feel like when you're charging money for a game, people have a right to expect, a game that doesn't crash when you close it. Sounds a little harsh, but, my point is that when people are paying money, the product that they got in return does deserve to be criticized because they paid for it. If someone pays for the product and comes away from it feeling cheated, yeah, that's totally legitimate. So, my general feeling about this game, and the early access part does kind of throw it off a little. Basically, I can't really say, no, this is terrible, don't get it, because I don't really believe that. What I can say is that this game isn't there yet. I actually kind of feel like this might have hit early access a little too soon. It hit early access at a point where the lack of content really is going to count against it. And I see a good bit here about, they're just constantly adding stuff. I feel like the lack of content that's there now is kind of. How do I want to put this? It's kind of poisoning the well a little. You know, all these negative reviews, they're basically saying the same thing. This game's not ready yet. If they're continuing to work on it, those negative reviews are still there. And, a lot of people, these are the first 3 not recommended. How many people are gonna see these 3 and then just decide, nope, sorry, I've seen enough, I'm out. Final verdict. Keeping in mind, I did get a review copy of this game. Is this game worth the purchase? My answer for that it's gotta be eventually. Maybe we'll hit a point with this game where, yeah, it's definitely worth it. Right now, I can't say it's there. $7 on Steam for really an incomplete experience. It is very promising in the amount of attention the developer's giving the criticisms and how frequently things seem to be updated. It's got promise. It's just not there yet. And that fact is certainly worth holding off for. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. Keep enjoying the videos, and subscribe to help the channel and see more.